friends, and welcome back to my crafty space. My name is Crystal, and in today's video, I am going to be putting together 2 more projects using the Friends Forever kit from Feed Your Craft. The first story that I'm going to be telling is about my daughter and my niece and this little tiny budding relationship the two of them are starting to have. And then the second story is about my sister-in-law and what her friendship with me means to me. So these are going to be 2 separate stories that are both going to go inside of my story album and our family story album. And yes, so let's go ahead and get to work. I think that these are going to be, both of them, super quick in coming together. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump right in. All right, so these are both going to end up being pretty simple to put together, which is why I just decided to do them both in one video. For this first one, I knew that I wanted to add this black and white photo of my daughter and my niece onto that really bright pattern background. I love the way the black and white pops off of the color, and I think it helps to bring the black in from the photo along with the writing on the bottom. So it just makes everything feel really cohesive. But I wanted to spruce this up just a little bit because, I don't know, it was feeling pretty plain. So I ended up grabbing out my Distress inks from Tim Holtz. I've got the, what is that one called? Raspberry Preserves? I think that's what it's called. I keep forgetting which one I have. And then I also have the Candy Apple Red. So I stamped 3 flowers of each color, because I'm not sure at this point which one I want to use on this particular spread. I end up going with the red one, but I will use the pink ones on something different anyway, so it worked out just fine. Then I'm using the opposite color to add in the centers of the flowers. The centers are much easier to see on the pink because the pink is a lighter color than the red, but you can still see them on the red as well. It's just, a little bit of a darker shade on there. I actually think it looks really cool. So I'm going to set those pink ones to the side, and then we're going to grab these red ones and fussy cut them all out. I decided I really like the way that they looked in the upper right hand corner of the photo there. So I'm just going to add those up at the top. And then I wanted to do something a little bit extra to the journaling card as well. So I pulled off the smallest little star stamp, and I'm going to use my StazOn ink to stamp out a strip of stars underneath the journaling card. And again, I'm using black on here so that it carries the black through to all of the cards. So all 3 spots have a little bit of black on them, and I just think it helps tie everything together ultimately. So then we'll put that away, and the last thing I need to do here is just add these flowers up at the top. So I will put my roller adhesive on there, stick them down, and then some of them do come off of the edge, so we'll turn it over and trim those off. I think this one came together really nicely. Sometimes I just love doing the more simple spreads where it's just story and photo focused with, a little teeny bit of sprucing up. So that was that. Okay, so now we're going to move on to this one. Now, this one is a story about my sister-in-law and I, and just talking about our friendship and, how it's awesome. We are married to identical twins. So my husband and her husband are identical twins, and they're just super best friends. So it was always their dream to have wives that were best friends, and they sure got their wish because Caitlin is definitely one of my closest friends. One of my best friends for sure in my life. So it really, is really special to me. Again, I wanted to do a little bit extra to this spread as well because it just was feeling a little bit flat to me. So the first thing I did was to grab a piece of spare vellum from a pile of scraps next to me, and I am going to stamp a circle sentiment that says you and me and you, better together. The first one, I got a little bit too much ink in there, so it blurred everything. And then the second time, I just lightly tapped it on my StazOn ink, which I always recommend using StazOn when you are stamping on vellum. It just is going to hold a little bit better and it won't smear or come off. So that is, that. I also use it a lot on my Feed Your Craft cards because they have a glossy feel to them, and I feel a little bit more secure that my StazOn's going to actually stay on that particular card. So the other thing I wanted to do was to stamp out some of these leaves. And for this one, I decided to use some of my Allie Edwards inks because I felt like the colors were a little bit closer to the colors in the card with all the women. So I used my Olympia Crafters ink, which is the greenish color, because I felt like that was the closest color I have in all of my stash of inks to the green that the women are wearing in the little journaling card. And then I also did the same thing where I used the red and the pink from Allie. So the pink is called Rose Garden and the red is called Pendleton. And I'm doing the same as well, where I'm stamping, you know, the flower in one color and the center in the other, and then alternating it so I can figure out which one I like the best. Ultimately, I'm going to pick 2 of these green leafy elements and fussy cut those out, add them into the bottom left-hand corner of that photo. And then I'm going to use the pink floral elements with the red centers in them. And again, I'm just going to fussy cut those out and then add those on top of the leafy bits. By now, I am pretty secure in that my stamping is dry on my vellum. So I did go ahead and use my 1-inch circle punch to punch that out, and then attached it to the middle of the card with all the women with my tiny attacher. I should also say that at some point, I already did it by now. I don't remember when I did it, but I added a stamp that said Best Friends Forever that just went through the middle of the You and Me card. So this is essentially how this is going to go. I did debate adding another sentiment, kind of a title sentiment down by the floral elements, but decided against that. So I'm just going to go ahead and add my adhesive onto these flowers. For this one, I started from the top down, so just stuck some onto the top flower and then put that down on some of them, and then picked that back up, added some more adhesive, put it on top of those leafy bits, and then added more adhesive and put it down on the photo. It worked out just fine that way. Again, I'm going to turn it over and trim off all of those extra bits and pieces. And then the last thing I'm going to do is bring the other story back over, because I'm trying to get better about date stamping my projects. So we're just going to add some date stamps on here. All right, you guys, that completes both of these spreads for today. I love them, love them. The floral elements are definitely one of my favorite pieces of this stamp set. I just think that it has been really fun to play around with making my own embellishments to add onto these spreads. If you guys enjoyed watching these 2 stories come together, I would love a thumbs up down below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can see all of my future crafty videos coming your way. I will be back again on Wednesday with a Project Life spread and a couple more videos after that as well. So make sure to keep an eye out for those. Until next time, I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day and a fantastic start to your week, and I will catch you all in the next video.